Hi, everyone, and welcome to Group Three's post-implementation review. The information featured in this movie was generated by all group members and is presented to you by Natasha Jones, the team leader and facilitator. Sometimes we swap roles to better utilize the skills and strengths of all group members so we can produce quality research. We studied the implementation of a help desk support ticketing system called Samanage at a local healthcare company with several locations. We hope you enjoy, so let's begin. Minnesota Gastroenterology, or MNG, is a well-respected network of clinics in the Twin Cities that provides quality health care for digestive disorders for both children and adults. They have several well-equipped clinic locations, some using cutting-edge technology like Bravo pH capsule and video capsule endoscopy. Their reputation in delivering outstanding customer service provides them with a competitive advantage in the niche market of digestive healthcare. With regulatory authorities like HIPAA that track trends, continues to grow with the business, and evolves with latest technological offerings. So, leadership at MG decided to purchase Salmon Age Help Desk, specifically because the last product that they used had reached the end of its life and was no longer supported. Here is a snapshot of what the Salmon Age Help Desk dashboard looks like. This is not the exact configuration that Minji used, but as a group, we wanted to get as close as possible to the product so that we can better understand its functionality. Salmon Age Help Desk does what MG was looking for in help desk ticketing management. Healthcare providers across the Twin Cities, as well as corporate staff, can quickly send a ticket to IT help desk when they have issues with other applications that they use. The ticket is then routed to the appropriate IT employee with the right expertise to resolve the technical issue. Salmonage graphically displays data that is valuable to the IT as well as other departments. Salmonage Helps Desktop is a great way to analyze trends in a faulty application and also identify the needs for additional end user training. IT can also track technological inventory, outages, and set reminders for work that is conducted on a recurring basis. So why did Minji select to manage out of all other ticketing management systems available? There are several reasons. Samanage has been awarded for delivering a help desk ticketing system that optimizes small to mid-sized businesses. Samanage Service Desk is recognized as one of the top ITMS tools of 2018 by CIO.com due to its notable scalability and intuitive yet simple design. Minji has a strong reputation, so it's only natural for them to conduct business with others that offer great service. It is an off-the-shelf product, so it frees up time and resources for Minji. Otherwise, in-house developers will be tasked with creating a ticketing system from scratch. Samanage is offered in the cloud and has a very strong security system. Our group examined Samanage's technology environment by focusing on five areas: the application architecture and integration of Samanage and its application hosting and capacity requirements, security and backup recovery, maintenance and performance monitoring, and tracking components and performance. One of the greatest features of Samanage is that it's hosted on the cloud. Samanage is hosted on the cloud using Amazon Web Services as its provider. There are currently no capacity requirements. Samanage will continue to manage maintainability, availability, and scalability on their end. If for some reason Minji becomes unsatisfied with the characteristics of the infrastructure, they can choose to upgrade by adding more features or end the relationship with Samanage to find a more suitable product as they continue to grow. Minji does not have a published policy regarding the implementation of Samanage. Minji did have Samanage sign a business agreement due to the sensitive data it would be handling and had a document titled Software and Network Related Procurement or Change Recommendations that guided the department in selecting an application that would suit the needs of the organization. Samanage Service Desk is licensed in the cloud, and Minji currently has 25 to 30 licenses costing $1,200 each. Samanage is a self-contained database management system, or DBMS, that creates, reads, updates, and deletes data in a database while controlling access and security. Samanage reaches out to Minnesota Gastroenterology Active Directory that holds the organization's IP addresses and end-user information. Samanage is the main ticketing software for Minji and guides the day-to-day business processes for the organization. Semantic links to other software applications at Minji, one of them which includes an application called Sophos. When Semantic was implemented, it was integrated with Minnesota Gastroenterology's Active Directory, which is an authenticated list of verified IP addresses. This authentication gives end users access to the organization's files, intranet, and software licenses. An employee would not be able to connect to any of these areas listed above if they were working off-site without a virtual private network or VPN. This ensures the security of the confidential information, especially since Minnesota Gastroenterology works with private health information that must be secured and protected. Samanage is not a standalone application. Minji implemented Samanage due to the depth of possibilities to enhance the application in the future. Data backup requirements for this application are exclusively addressed by Samanage. Samanage has policies in place that back up all their customers' information to a local hard drive. Every night, that information is backed up to an offsite location to ensure privacy, security, and complete retrievability of all account information. If Samanage did have a failure in their systems, Minji would be at a considerable loss and would have no choice but to revert to an email hotline and person-to-person contact during the outage. Samanage is responsible for all its system maintenance. Network architecture at the data centers is hosted through Amazon Web Services. The Cloud Trail service enables governance, compliance, operational auditing, and risk auditing. In actively using a firewall, this security-oriented server has taken the right steps in combating and protecting against interference from unwanted parties. Antivirus softwares and Adobe Acrobat agents guarantee the system to remain up to date without requiring manual interference. AWS provides fault-tolerant web architectures and sophisticated network infrastructures through careful monitored management control. The initial support contact is a representative from Samanage that supports Minnesota Gastroenterology directly. To date, there have not been any issues that have been reported, and if that were to occur, Samanage offers 24/7 global support over the phone. Fixes such as service enhancements and new features get incorporated into the application by being published to a customer community page. On the page, customers receive notifications about the changes regarding their subscription more efficiently. The security of fixes gets maintained through a direct contact through a representative. Salmonage incorporates highly advanced technology toward protecting internet security. Security service flows get patched immediately upon damage. Daily, the application is actively working to ensure that the services it offers are copiously secure and up to date with the latest security technology. All new features and service enhancements are published to the customer community page, and any planned events will be communicated via email in advance. Minnesota Gastroenterology has a formal process for tracking hardware components that includes the use of barcoding hardware. Each computer, laptop, and cell phone throughout the organization has a sticker on it that is an asset tag with a unique ID, which is attached to the hardware itself. When a help desk ticket is placed, there is a 5-digit number on the asset tag that is punched into Samanage to identify which computer to work on. This barcoding hardware retrieves the information that is associated with the device, and the IT employee can remote into the device and fix the issue through Samanage. Samanage is the main tracking system for both software and database components at Minnesota Gastroenterology. It tracks all assets, help desk tickets, statistics, service catalog items, and automatically generates task reminders. For example, there's an employee with the role of facility maintenance specialist. that travels to the different Minji sites every day to repair equipment and run daily checklists. He runs these reports through Semantic, takes them to each site, and verifies that all items on the report are checked. The site director at each location receives automatic emails that track the progress that the facility maintenance specialist has made and any outstanding items that still need to be addressed. Minnesota Gastroenterology's IT department measures the technical capacity usage for its information system. Minji monitors the network throughout, monitors usage and software matrix. An example of this was when Minji opened their Chan Hansen clinic in 2017. The IT department was able to decipher in advance how much network usage, applications, and resources each role would require. These metrics are also used to determine if the server can handle any additional resources. Minji and the system development process. We learned this semester that the system development process, or SDLC, requires planning, analysis, design, development, implementation, testing, and maintenance. This diagram on the slide introduces an additional step, which they call the user acceptance, and we'll touch on that again later in this presentation. The development process begins by following the new vendor policy that defines how vendor relationships should be managed at Minji. The purpose of the policy helps define what to look for when partnering with vendors. A key thing to consider through this policy is if the vendor is truly a business owner. Once it has been determined that the vendor is legitimate, the approval process of the chosen vendor begins. All vendors must be validated through Minji's accounting department to ensure that the vendor is legitimate. A vendor authorization form is signed by the vendor and kept on file in the accounting department. Along with the new vendor policy, a project charter was created to define the background, scope, stakeholders, project completion, deliverable dates, and constraints or concerns of the project. For Semantic implementation, this document was called the Information Systems Help Desk Software Implementation Project Charter. This document first explained the background regarding the need for the new help desk software. Minji's previous help desk software, Help Desk Authority, was no longer being supported and had been in place since 2009. The IT department had it on their project timeline to replace Help Desk Authority with a new system by the end of 2017. The scope of the project was defined and listed all the tasks of replacing Help Desk Authority. The stakeholders were listed, including project customer, project sponsor, project manager, business owner, and core team members. The project completion listed key dates and how everything would be implemented in 60 days, with the completion date of December 31st, 2017. Finally, the constraints, assumptions, and concerns were defined regarding what road bumps they might face with their aggressive timeline and resources available to complete the implementation by the end of 2017. Minnesota Gastroenterology determined their business requirements based on the functionality of the old system. Basically, they wanted a new system to do what the old one did well, plus add more. Since technology had evolved since the last implementation, they also had additional requirements. They needed to have a system that was on the cloud to keep resources available for other systems and maintaining processing speed. They knew that they wanted to outsource the development, so they understood that off the shelf products would meet their needs. Semantic is pre-designed, but the layout was customized to meet the needs of Minji's IT processes. Some customizations came at an increased cost, so Minji went slightly over budget during this phase of the process. Semantic reduced the lag time between design and development. The program was developed almost immediately after certain design issues were addressed. Leadership at Minnesota Gastroenterology never considered developing their own IT ticketing system. Since the inception of the business, they always outsourced and would continue or they decided to continue to benefit from the lower costs and increased productivity. According to our textbook, system testing is crucial as it verifies that units or pieces of code function correctly once integrated. Regarding testing of Samanage, Minji followed the guide provided through them thoroughly. They gathered test incidents to probe, examine, and determine if they were functioning correctly. Minnesota Gastroenterology developed project teams to complete processes that included assigning, categorizing, collaborating, sending tasks, reporting, closing completed tasks based on the information gathered. A parallel implementation took place where both the old system and Samanage functioned separately, but only for a short period of time, while the help desk tickets in the previous system were addressed and closed. There was deliberate consideration regarding Samanage being able to accommodate projected horizontal and vertical growth. Minnesota Gastroenterology has already used Samanage's system to enhance the facility maintenance role within the organization. One thing to note is, despite testing, there was a issue with the categorizing of tickets that Minji noticed after implementation. So that is one thing that ended up increasing the cost or the time used to actually use the system. It's possible that the issue with the categorizing of tickets had an impact on the acceptance from end users since they weren't able to immediately know which category to select to put the ticket into. They may have lost a little bit of confidence with Samanage and started to just send emails instead of using that ticketing system. Let's take a moment to discuss the post implementation assessment. Semantic Help Desk is being used daily by the IT staff to track IT assets, monitor other applications, resolve tickets, engage in user satisfaction. End users that submit tickets sometimes fail to use Semantic every time they have an incident to report. Semantic enhances business activities at Minnesota Gastroenterology in a variety of ways. During the interview, a IT representative boasted about the economic benefits of buying Samanage instead of developing their own system in-house. Samanage makes transaction execution a breeze when the end user submits a ticket through the client. Samanage enhances Minji's ability to service their employees' needs by providing a seamless process for submitting and solving tickets. Samanage's higher cost is justified because it's a cloud-based product that allows Minji to keep technical resources from other systems. Minji has a 3-year contract with them, so the cost to benefit analysis is still being evaluated at the company level. Samanage is enhancing both primary and support value activities within the organization. Per the value chain analysis created by Michael Porter, the goal of the value chain analysis is to identify processes in which the firm can add value for the customer and create a competitive advantage for itself with a cost advantage or product differentiation. Primary value activities are enhanced through Samanage by the service aspect it offers its users. Samanage has increased the technology development at Minji because the software is able to grow with the needs of the organization. The largest competitive advantages created by the system is streamlined effort to decrease overhead by taking away the cobbled together approach of IT where both time and money are wasted. Having the ability to streamline interactions with IT will show a positive return on investment with greater efficiency and cost savings. In the long term, Samanage will be able to maintain a competitive advantage and enable the IT department to become more agile. Our team can say that Minnesota Gastroenterology did a great job by preparing for the project by having a timeline that forecasted when the old product would need to be replaced with the new system. Minji's IT department prepared well for the project by creating a project charter that outlined the intention, project members, and implementation date. Overall, this implementation was effective because it replaced the end of life product, met the implementation deadline, and added additional functionality that the previous system didn't provide. Unfortunately, this implementation did exceed the original budget due to many of the features being an additional cost. So, this was a downside to the overall scope of the project. We recommend that Minnesota Gastroenterology continues to encourage end users to utilize SalmonH because there's really no use of paying for a product that the end users don't actually use. A cost to benefit analysis should be conducted to ensure that SalmonH is actually cheaper in the long run than developing their own IT support system. Another key takeaway for Minnesota gastroenterology is that they should take a little bit more time to get to know more of the features of Samanage because there may be additional benefits that they haven't been able to use at this time. All right, so let's talk about where we got our data. Most of it came from interviews that from IT staff that work within Minnesota Gastroenterology, but we also did have some backup resources just in case they weren't able to answer our questions to our liking. One website that we went to was Samanage.com. They offered plenty of insightful information about how their system worked, and we also had an opportunity to view demos and see the application in action. We also visited CIO.com, which offered us a perspective from a C suite executive level so that we can better understand what leadership has to consider in order to create an implementation. Another outstanding resource that we used was the Business Driven Information Systems textbook that we learned from this semester. We were able to get a strong foundation of knowledge that we definitely use when interviewing and conducting our research. And we also visited, they have it as MNG or mngastro.com, which is the actual website for the healthcare provider, so that we can get a better understanding of the business as well. Now, stepping away from our research, I can proudly say that our group definitely learned a lot. Definitely learned how to evaluate the success of an implementation project, and that can be an implementation of technology or basically how to integrate new ideas into any work environment. Another thing we learned is how to work well with each other online. We definitely have a lot of other things going on outside of the classroom, like family and work schedules, and just different conflicts that just pop up throughout the semester. And we were able to overcome those and continue to crank out great work. So another thing that we learned was how to redirect a project when it begins to fail. Because in all honesty, this assignment was a huge project within itself, and there's times where we were almost not going to meet the deadline, but we definitely learned how to um, adapt to change and be able to take on more if needed in order to benefit the entire group. Thanks so much for taking time to review our presentation. We learned a great deal about successful projects and how to implement them in our school environment or even at work. So this opportunity to work on this presentation was an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for watching.